Well, good evening, everyone. Michael Soothing here. I am going to sample a Filipino dessert called Halo Halo. It means mix mix. It's sort of like what we would call a parfait. It has various layers of fruit, and this is some kind of non-dairy ice cream. Ben & Jerry's 7-layer non-dairy. And I don't know what all else is in it. She won't tell me. But Joanne made it, so I'm going to try this. It's interesting. It's yummy, I think. I think so far I like the ice cream the best. There's some chocolate something in here. See? A lot of different stuff. If you want to know all what's in it, I think she'll tell in her video. There's Filipino fruits that we got from the Filipino store. Are not something crunchy. But I can't eat all of this because of the sugar restrictions. Oh, here's a piece of fruit. Piece of fruit there. Some kind of Filipino fruit, but I don't remember what. All right. I'm also going to talk about Miniature World. We went to Victoria, British Columbia, on Vancouver Island in Canada for a little getaway. And I haven't showed you the maps and stuff yet of what's there and what things we liked about the city, Victoria. We enjoyed it quite a bit. I wish we would have had more days there. But I thought I'd show you just one of the things they have there in this video. Later I'll talk about the broader city as a whole and the waterfront and some of that. I think we just whet our appetite for going, basically, because we didn't do maybe even a tenth of what we really wanted to do. But here was one of the things we went to called Miniature World. And what was interesting is they had all these scenes there with very small miniature figurines and towns and they were all historic. It wasn't just made up stuff. It was, miniature versions of London in the 1800s or some of the gold rush towns in Alaska or Canada. What did Vancouver look like? Vancouver, Canada, when it was starting out. And then there was other things like fantasy stuff, Alice in Wonderland, and all kinds of different themes there. King Arthur and his castle. What's your favorite King Arthur movie? Myself, I liked, see, there's the magnifying glass. They had tons of great detail on every exhibit. If they had a mining town, there would be a cross section with mine shafts going down and little tiny mining cars and people and all that kind of thing. If they had jousting, oh, I was asking you your favorite King Arthur movie. Some of you might have seen the Disney film when you were a kid, Sword in the Stone. There have been many variations. My favorite was Excalibur, a well-done film made in the 80s, I think, 1980s. But yeah, they had King Arthur's court jousting. They have towns where there's little trains running around, trams and things like that. Here's one with a classic car get together there. All those classic cars. And that was an interesting exhibit. The exhibits all have buttons you can push that make things happen. You know, they'll make the lights come on, or they'll make the train run, or something like that. Here is, I think this might be London, but it's somewhere in Europe. By the way, Victoria, Canada, since that area was settled by ships from the UK, it has a very European feel to it. And if I was able to bore you with photographs and things, then you would see that it's... I'm going to take another bite. It would remind you of someplace in Scandinavia or in the UK or Austria, one of those European cities. With those old provincial style buildings that are very attractive. I don't usually do mukbang, but since Joanne made me this hollow, I thought I better avail myself of it. Here's another big piece of mango or something. There's 2 or 3 different Filipino fruits in here. I had to do an edit because I was getting ready to be messy with my hollow. Anyway, what's Joanne been up to in here? We have this little kind of ASMR studio room now. That was a little spare bedroom. It still is. So I always see what she's been working on. She was doing Swedish fish. Whoa, I almost dropped them all on the floor. I don't know if she did this already, actually. But it's very colorful. I like the colors, don't you? I want to play with them. I went fishing today. Actually, speaking of fish, but I only caught one little trout. It wasn't big enough to keep. So that was way up a place I hadn't been, way up the upper reaches of one of the coastal rivers. So I scoped it out, but I'll need to go back again sometime. All right. Miniature world. Let's see what it says about it. Look, here's what do they call that? The ones who were marooned on an island. They have them at Disneyland. See that one? And here's a whole thing with little trains. But anyway, it says, rated a gem attraction by the AAA book. It's right downtown, close to the waterfront, close to the harbor. The greatest little show on earth. Over 85 exciting miniature dioramas and displays. See? It says there, over 85 different dioramas. Welcome to Miniature World, one of the most popular attractions in Canada. Your visit here, of course, most of the attractions in Canada are natural beauty, and so this is kind of a tourist thing to do, which I don't normally do, but we didn't make it to Butchart Garden, which I wanted to take Joanne to see, but we'll do that in a future trip, since Victoria's not too far now from where my daughter lives. She lives up in Seattle area. Anyway, it says, welcome to Miniature World. Your visit here will be fun and enjoyable for all ages. We enjoyed it, even Joanne, who doesn't really like touristy stuff at all. I'm not into tourist stuff much either, but this was a fun one to spend a couple hours in there. Many guests return time and again. Marvel at the craftsmanship and magic of custom-created displays by over 30 different artists. Almost everything made by hand. Did you happen by chance to see a series, was it on PBS, called The Miniaturist, a 3-part series? And that was pretty interesting. Although I didn't like the ending so much. Let me know if you saw that show. It was very unique. It was about, turn of the century Amsterdam. Was it turn of the century? Like around the late 1800s, I think. Anyway, and it has sort of a magical element where this miniaturist is sending anonymous tiny creations to this lady. And there's all this characters and drama and things, but I'm off track again. This place reminded me of it because it's so detailed. Anyway, almost everything made by hand, from historical reenactments to the castles of Europe and Buckingham Palace, to 10 different working train lines, to the world's smallest operating sawmill. 11 years in the making, it's all here and much, much more. The self-guided tour takes on average 45 to 60 minutes. That's accurate. I think we spent about 1 hour, and it wasn't too expensive. I don't know, $12 Canadian or something, I'm not sure. Have fun pushing buttons to activate the animation, and yes, you can take photos. Don't you hate it when you go to an exhibit and it says no photography? I don't like that. They had lots of things like houses with, when you would look at a house like this one, for example, you could look in the windows and there would be all this tiny furniture and chandeliers and dining tables with little itty-bitty plates on them and forks and you name it, it was in there. Very, very. Here's a World War II battle scene down here. And all this stuff is done in quite exquisite detail. So I think that's about all I can say about that. They had a big circus, logging industry scenes from, of course, the region and all that kind of thing. Really enjoyed being in Canada. I've been there before and always loved it. I'm gonna try another bite of this mix. Hollow. Joanne will make a full video on this. She'll make one for herself. So, look, there's a chunk of something, some kind of fruit. So if you want to know all about how to make it or what's in it, you can go to her channel. Oh, something different down here. Another giant chunk of some other kind of fruit. I think I can't remember the names. Durian, I think, which is appropriate for Anne. Now I'm going to have to walk a lot, but that's okay. What else is over here? Nothing else I want to discuss at the moment. So, until next time, don't ASMR and drive. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.